Good stuff. I think that we're all good. I hope that you all can hear me. I see no indication. It says that you cannot hear me. Might have to turn it down a little bit, but other than that, I think everybody can hear me pretty well. What is happening, everybody? What's going on? Thank you all so much for tuning into another episode of Mikasa Sukasa, and I am your host, Niko House. Just wanted to bring you a quick morning report, some breaking news that came through yesterday evening. Once again, well, before I start, you know what I'm about to say. Like the video, share the video, retweet the video. If you're on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe. Every subscriber that we get, every share that we get helps us beat the constant suppression by social media for us truth tellers. Anybody who's willing to tell you all the truth about what's going on, this left-right paradigm of a duopoly that we're currently living in. So please like and share the video. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you have not, make sure that you go to www.mcscnetwork.com for updates from all of your favorite independent journalists. And if they're not your favorite, they will be, I promise. But I did want to bring you all a quick update regarding some more tales of the duopoly. Now, I had a person ask me this morning, and they apologized because they understood. After I explained myself, they understood where I came from. They said, it seems like you're playing devil's advocate too often and not criticizing the Republicans enough, or at least not as much as I do the Democrats. And I do, actually. I criticize the Republicans quite often. I would say that a lot of my supporters, at least who watch my videos, are very aware of this. But I said that I have my biggest issue is when I have pundits on either side of the political fence who pretend as if their version of the duopoly is better. The Democrats who feel as if no matter what, Democrats are better than Republicans. And no matter what narrative is being discussed, they're always going to spin it as if Democrats are somehow different than Republicans. Just as a brief example, Joe Biden a while back said something he would cause physical harm to Donald Trump if he knew him in high school. And I think Trump responded yesterday. And the person's critique is that Trump didn't apologize for his sexist comments. He went back at Joe Biden, and that means Trump is proud to be a sexist, which is a weird takeaway from that. I'm not saying that he's not proud to be a sexist. He very well may be a sexist. He is a sexist, that's for sure. But I don't know if he's not proud of it or not. But the takeaway that I got from that statement was when Joe Biden said that he would inflict violence on someone, doesn't matter who it is, as a politician, as a vice president, your job is supposed to be to reconcile and offer solutions. As a politician, especially as a vice president, especially as, you're the leader of the Senate as a vice president. Your job is to bridge gaps, not make them wider. However, when he initially made those comments, no Democrat critiqued him or criticized him. But when Trump responds, all of a sudden there's a huge uproar. All of a sudden it's okay what Joe Biden said because Trump did this. On the right, you have people who say it's okay that Trump did this because Hillary Clinton did this. And it's never from a point of analysis. It's never from a perspective of objectivity. It's simply from a perspective of a person who is trying to profit from affirming nonsense. If you believe something that Alex Jones said before you even started watching Alex Jones, for example, like if you believe in that immigrants are going to come to America and refugees are going to come here and they're going to take over and it's going to be violence everywhere. If you believe that before you got to his channel, And then he tells you that and then offers some cute little videos of Europe without any context to them. Guess what you're going to do? You're going to keep eating it up and eating it up and eating it up. You're going to like it. Then he says what you like so much you don't want to see him go anywhere, because what do we love more than someone reaffirming our own ignorance? When I say something stupid, I want my friend to back me up in public. He needs to tell me about it when we get home, when we get back in the car, but I want my friend to back me up. So we love the reaffirmation of our own ignorance, especially if it means that we won't be embarrassed. But what Alex Jones won't tell you is that we already have refugees here. We have Somalians, specifically the ones they like to talk about the most. We have Somalian refugees in Vermont. We have a lot of Somalian refugees in Minnesota, Wisconsin. We have a lot of Somalian refugees in a lot of states that you aren't really familiar with, that are simply doing their best to integrate into society, get over the problems that cause them to have to move, and not bother anybody. But Alex Jones doesn't talk about those refugees. He talks about some violent videos based in Europe in countries that are notorious for treating Muslims like trash. They talk about refugees who are pissed because you, as a European country or as a Western country, alongside the United States, totally destroyed my country. So I asked for refuge because you claim it was for this other cause, but we're not that stupid. And then when I get there, you treat me like trash. Your polity treats me like trash. And so, of course, violence and discord is going to erupt. At least that's how common sense works in my mind. I think that's pretty much. But when Somalians came to Vermont, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and a few other states, they weren't treated like trash. Minnesotans are really, really, really nice people. So they weren't treated like anything. They were treated like human beings. But the right, or the Alex Jones type of right, won't discuss that. My point, I'm not advocating for one way or the other. What I am advocating for is get over the duopoly. Get over the left-right paradigm and some people who try to disguise objectivity, and they disguise their profit from the duopoly and from the left-right paradigm. They disguise it as truth and objectivity. And, you know, like I said, once again, I can use Alex Jones because he's so easy. He always, he says, I love refugees. I love the Muslims. I love the gays. I'm just not for this. And then proceeds to tear them apart. Just like TYT with Jane. I want to see Trump successful. Then when he does something that's a compliment, like that he deserves a compliment on, like the other day he said that he would be willing to sue the pharmaceutical industry over an opioid crisis. Well, would he? I don't know. Maybe not. Probably not. But that's something worth mentioning, I think. And yet again, we have another example of a huge headline that neither the left nor the right, if you're watching me, you probably got that mixed up, but you know what I'm saying. But neither the left or the right has covered this to a significant degree. And I doubt they will, because they can't spin it to be left versus right. Okay. Well, whenever my computer decides to work again, I'll go ahead and bring it up. But according to Huffington Post, in a quote-unquote tight vote, Senate bucks Bernie and allows U.S. role in Yemen war to continue. The Senate voted. I'm going to go ahead and zoom this in for y'all. The Senate voted 55 to 44 Tuesday afternoon against taking up a resolution. A resolution. Not even a bill, people. Not even a bill, but a resolution. But let me continue. By the way, the difference between a resolution and a bill is that a bill will be signed into law. A resolution is just saying, hey, can we start moving towards this direction? But Tuesday afternoon against taking up a resolution to end U.S. military support for a Saudi-led coalition that has killed thousands of civilians in Yemen, which means the controversial policy will continue, but so will the growing Capitol Hill debate about it. Senator Sanders, Mike Lee. So this is Senator Sanders, an independent, Mike Lee, Republican from Utah, and Chris Murphy, Democrat from Connecticut, introduced the bill to end the American role in the war 3 weeks ago, and it attracted high-profile co-sponsors: Dick Durbin from Illinois, Elizabeth Warren, Kirsten Gillibrand, Cory Booker, Dianne Feinstein. We're not gonna talk about that, but at least they're wising up. You see how smart the Democrats got? Some of them, they smart. If you're a high-profile Democrat and you vote against Bernie Sanders, it don't look good for your career. Ask Cory Booker. He knows all about that. But Senate leaders, notably top Senate Foreign Relations Committee figures like Bob Corker, Republican, Tennessee, Bob Menendez, Democrat from New Jersey, said that the proposal was too hasty and should return to committee. What does that even mean? How is saving lives saying, hey, can we stop doing this, please? Can we stop funding terrorism? I don't know. You're asking for a lot. Now let's take this back down to committee and see where we go from there. Yeah. But I want you to understand something. Once again, Senate leaders, notably top Senate Foreign Relations Committee figures Bob Corker, Republican, Tennessee, Bob Menendez, Democrat, New Jersey. Looks like there's no one for anybody to blame. It's probably why you haven't heard about it. The Trump administration heavily invested in convincing lawmakers it would unwisely damage the American partnership with the Saudis. Menendez, I actually would like to know who said that. I'm going to check that out in a second. But Menendez and 9 other Democrats, Senator Chris Coons, Delaware, Catherine Cortez, Nevada, Joe Donnelly, Indiana, Heidi Heitkamp, North Dakota, Joe Manchin, West Virginia, Bill Nelson, Florida, Jack Reed, Rhode Island, Doug Jones, Alabama. Boy, Doug Jones has just been making y'all proud since he barely won that election against the child molester. And Sheldon Whitehouse, Rhode Island, ultimately aligned with all but 5 Republicans to kill the bill. The issue came to a head this week as Saudi Arabia's de facto ruler, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, visits Washington. President Trump said on Tuesday that he was very good friends with the prince, who has been closely involved in Saudi United Arab Emirates operations and alleged war crimes in Yemen. I want to see something really fast. Okay, that's weird. So they linked, quote unquote, Trump administration invested heavily in convincing the lawmakers it would unwisely damage American partnership with the Saudis, but there's nothing. It doesn't go to anything unless I'm missing something. Yeah, it doesn't go to anything. Oh, okay. Apparently it is going to something. But do you all get what I'm saying? Do you understand that those Democrats see, look at this. This is the portrait. This is the portrayal. The Trump administration and the GOP leadership started lobbying against a bipartisan resolution questioning the U.S. role in the Civil War in Yemen before Senator Sanders, Mike Lee, Chris Murphy even filed it on Wednesday morning. The Defense Department's acting general counsel, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, They sent a letter criticizing the resolution on Tuesday. Okay, so that's Mitch McConnell. I'm still. Where's the Trump administration at? I'm not saying that Trump wouldn't say that, because he is pretty close with the Saudis. But there's literally nothing here from the Trump administration that said that he was lobbying or had his administration lobbying against the legislation. I'm not saying that he didn't lobby. What I'm saying is, when they make claims like that, you can't say Mitch McConnell and then automatically equate that to the Trump administration, when we know historically, based off of the relationship between Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump before the election, and hell, even during his presidency, they don't even like each other. But you're automatically equating Mitch McConnell to the Trump administration. It's, like I said, they couldn't have just reported it. They couldn't have just reported it. It had to be Trump is fighting this, or the Republican Party is fighting this, while barely, by the way, mentioning the fact in that particular article. They didn't say anything about the Democrats at all. They didn't put any pressure on the Democrats. They didn't even, maybe he simply didn't know that there were Democrats also lobbying against that legislation. But like I said, it's even more critical of the fact that there were Democrats on that committee who all voted with the Republicans and want to see it dealt with at the committee level. And what they do at the committee level, they kick it to the curb, in case you're wondering what happens next. You don't have to have a majority of Democrats. You don't have to have a majority of Republicans. You just need to have them in the right places when it comes to getting legislation through or denying it. Why isn't Rachel Maddow, Van Jones, etc., in an uproar? Hell, why isn't Trump's supporters, who are anti-establishment Republican, in an uproar? Do you understand, the more we spend funding Saudi Arabia's genocide of the Yemeni people, the less you get back? What has a Yemeni person ever done to you except for delivered an amazingly delicious sub at your local bodega in Brooklyn? That's about it. They've never done anything negative to anyone in this country, and yet your dollars are going to literally one of the countries, if you're a conservative or if you're a quote-unquote Trumpster, one of the countries that you all critique and use as an example as why you do not support Islam at all. By the way, Saudi Arabia is not Islam. Like, they're not Islamic. They're Wahhabists, which is it's like the KKK version of Islam, in case you're wondering, okay? But Yemeni have never done anything to you all, and yet your tax dollars are going to destroy them, to a country that you all so sorely despise. That's whenever you're referring to Sharia law, that's what you're referring to. That's not even Islam. That's Wahhabism. But is anybody talking about this? Is anybody critiquing this? How it should legitimately be critiqued? Yeah, we should be pissed that this did not get passed. But what you should probably be more upset about is the fact that if you're on the left, the Democrats just prevented lives from being saved. For what? If you're a Republican, if you're a conservative, or if you're right-leaning, or if you're a Trump supporter, those aren't all the same thing sometimes. You should be just as livid, because your tax dollars are going to a country whose practices you are constantly criticizing and constantly critiquing, to destroy people that you don't even know you wouldn't even know a Yemeni if you saw. I promise you, a lot of you wouldn't. And yet, I saw pretty much nothing about this. The military industrial establishment is just that. They're not dichotomized by Republican and Democrat. They're just the establishment. Republican and Democrat is just letters, especially, and if you've lived in the South and you're a Democrat, I'm sure you've already recognized that. Republican and Democrat are just letters that they put in front of their names depending on the district that they live in and the district they think is most winnable. That's why they put Democrat and Republican in front of their name. So I'm interested to know your thoughts on this. Make sure you like, share, comment. If you're not subscribed, please do so. I will see you all a little bit later on this afternoon whenever I interview H.A. Goodman. Make sure you tune into his, or actually I'm going on H.A. Goodman's page. So make sure you tune into his interview with Richard Spencer. He's actually going to debate Richard Spencer on his crazy ideology about, white people wanting to kick everybody who is not white out of the country. Yeah, because he has this obsession with quote unquote white culture. But HA got some stuff for him. So, and I will definitely be critiquing that debate later on this afternoon as well. So that will be fun. I'm excited to watch it. So make sure you tune in. It's going to be at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern. So 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you tune into that. And always remember, ladies and gentlemen, find your balance. Peace.